Hi, I'm Horny Ramen and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to give you a Ramen 101 tutorial, and then we'll make a bowl anyone can prepare in their home kitchen. In the range of instant ramen all the way to restaurant quality ramen, this should land us smack dab in the middle. So let's start with the four main ingredients. Every ramen bowl should have noodles, broth, flavoring sauce or tare, and a flavored oil. The other ingredients that you add to the bowl like meat, tofu, eggs, or veggies are all bonus. So let's lay out the ingredients and start this cook. So on your screen right now, you've got all the ingredients for the broth, the tare, the noodles, the oil, and all the extras. Fresh ramen noodles are available at most Asian supermarkets these days, but if you're in Montreal, you can get them from me. For the broth, I'm using some beef stock I got at the supermarket, also a piece of kelp, a yellow onion, a clove of garlic, some ginger, and some shiitake mushrooms. We'll make a simple shitake with salt, and I'm using chili oil. For the other ingredients, we're going to do a soy flavored pork belly, a fried egg, bean sprouts, and some green onions. I've got a big pot of boiling water on the stove, and since a broth takes the most time, we'll start with that first. We'll put a half a liter of beef stock on the stove and bring it to a low simmer. So I'm going to coarse chop up the ginger and leave it with the peel on. Then I'm going to peel the garlic and chop it in half. And lastly, peel and quarter up the onion. And now we'll toss all those things into the pot of simmering broth. Kelp and shitake mushrooms are two main ingredients in Japanese dashi and will help level up this simple beef broth. The next thing we'll prepare is the salt tare. So take about 5 or 6 tablespoons of broth out of the pot and add it to a new pot with the 5 grams of salt. Stir over medium heat until completely dissolved, and then set aside. Next we'll get out some green onions, trim off the tips, and chop them up for plating later. This time I'm going to cut them diagonally. Makes them more pretty. The next thing we'll do is the pork belly. So heat up a pan and add the pork, and then after browning one side, we'll add the soy sauce. Once the color turns a nice golden brown, take it off the stove, drain the fat, and store for later. Now most of the prep is done, so we can start filling our bowl. There's cold ingredients and hot ingredients, so we'll start with the cold ingredients. First, we'll put in the chili oil, and then we'll add the shio tare. Moving on to our hot ingredients, we'll blanch our bean sprouts for about 15 seconds, and then set them aside. Now we'll put our boiling pot back on the stove and heat it up again for the noodles. After your noodle water is boiling, you can take the broth and add it to the bowl. We'll pass it through a strainer to take out all the bits, and we're going to save the shiitake mushrooms as a garnish for later. Now it's time to cook your noodles, so drop them in and keep them moving. Make sure to read the cook time on the packaging, but if you're not sure, take out a noodle and taste it. As soon as they're ready, strain out the water and add them to your bowl. Now that you have the 4 main ingredients, you've got a bowl of ramen. But we're not done yet, so let's chop up the shiitake mushrooms, add the bean sprouts, drop the mushrooms in the bowl, and then we'll add our pork belly. For finishing touches, we'll put some green onions and the fried egg. And there you have it, homemade ramen. As simple as it gets. I hope this video makes cooking fresh ramen easier and more approachable for you folks at home. What I showed you today was for 1 serving, but if you want to make more, check out the recipe in the description and multiply accordingly. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.